Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing today? Now you may be asking, what's going on? Shouldn't we be doing a let's play or a challenge or hey, Eck, shouldn't you be animating? Well, yes. This is actually part of Anthony's anime things. A secondary bit that I would like to call Anthony's Talks. So, you know how I said in my introductory animation that I was going to do animations to express myself, to talk about myself, how to say it, basically become more open minded. Well, yes, animations will be done more later. However, what I decided to do as well is, for the record, there are also intimate topics that I want to talk to you, the fellow people of YouTube, with a personal emotion. Talk to you face to face, since, well, these topics are important to me. And so, let's begin. Pardon me? Also, this gives me an opportunity to, well, not necessarily be particularly quality in terms of explanations, since, well, I just want to talk to you. This is where I can, ramble and talk about stuff. So, without further ado, you know why you clicked on this video. Video games. The weird and wonderful worlds that, well, shaped up the modern world of entertainment. And video games, they're great. They're something that, honestly, if they didn't exist, I don't know how we would have existed, if I'm honest. Since, well, they not only provide entertainment and even inspiration, they sometimes provide things like, well, surprisingly, training, such as reflexes, luck, all that jazz. They can be trained by video games. And I was no exception. I got introduced to video games at a fairly young age, roughly 3 years old, if I can remember. And my first tablet, as you may or may not know, I don't remember if I told you about this, but I got it at the age of 5. So that counts for something. And, well, in this vid, I want to talk to you about the various video games and video game franchises that I got interested in, am interested in today, and, well, why they're meaningful to me. So before we delve in to the topic, first I would like to talk to you about something I call a gamer's profile. What do I mean by that? Well, essentially, they're the following things. Two, to be exact. The first is what a gamer likes, more specifically the genres that they're strong in and prefer the games off of. The other is the ones they do not like, the one that they genuinely struggle in, and sure, there may be something good from every genre for everyone. However, know that some genres are better than others for certain people. And I'm really no exception. So, what is my gamer's profile? Well, for the things I like, it would be survival games. I mainly like those since, well, it gives you a sort of feel of realism, a feeling of, well, like you actually accomplished something, like you're doing something. In that pressure, that feeling of everything surrounding you being danger and you overcoming it. It's quite epic, honestly. The second one is sandbox games. Yep, you heard me right, sandbox. Honestly, my favorite of the genres, since I can call myself a creative person, so to speak, and being able to express that creativity by forging my own path in a video game, whether it would be going the intended route or the unintended. I like those games because it allows me to think about what I'm actually going to do. The third genre is RPGs, mainly because I like the style of battling in RPGs and the unique elements that each game of such genre brings. The next would be MOBA. Now, MOBA, if you don't know, it's essentially where you control a character and fight with other players. It may sound a little bit dull at first, but think about it. Every character has their special ability, and overall, you actually feel like you're that character, like on the battlefield, like you're actually fighting. It's quite exhilarating. And as for the final genre I honestly love and cherish, would be tower defense. Since, while I'm not the best strategist, I'll admit, I do enjoy tower defense, mainly for the fact that it actually feels, again, like I'm the one who's placing them, like I'm the one who's fighting, like I'm the one who actually thinks behind it, which is true. I think about it. So, as you probably guessed, the pattern is, well, that I enjoy games that actually make me feel like I'm in the game, that actively make me think what I'm going to do, or if I've played the game or know about it, plan out what I'm going to do. So yeah, you can see just about how that works. And you may ask, well, what about the other end of the spectrum, the stuff you dislike? Well, for starters, I do not like shooters and FPS and Battle Royale and everything in between of those three genres. Why, you may ask? Well, that's simply because I'm bad, but will you not say, Anthony, but you said you like MOBA. Yeah, true, but unlike in MOBA, where you have a mostly top-down perspective and each character is different, you have the same character, it's just that the equipment is different, and it actually requires skill. Not that the games I play don't require skill, no, don't think that. However, they require far more skill. And also, as somewhat of a side note, the games of such genre typically go into something I would like to call gaming toxicity. What is gaming toxicity? Well, it's pretty straightforward. That's when a fan base of a video game becomes, well, they become toxic because they start insulting each other, screaming, teabagging, all that jazz. So yeah, not a huge fan. Another genre I don't really like is MMORPG. Mainly for the fact that the whole top-down perspective and the fact that you can sometimes autoplay, and basically I find the genre boring. It feels artificial. Like, it's not even there. It actively feels like, well, it is a game. It doesn't feel like it's real. It isn't immersive. And the final genre I don't really like is detective. Why detective, or sometimes as other people refer to it as murder mystery? Well, simply for the fact that I'm not good at those. I genuinely just have no idea how to do good in either role. Especially the good roles. I really struggle in good roles in such games. Besides, it gets even more complicated if there are more than one bad role. And sometimes it goes to good roles as well. So, yeah, you can see my point. So in short, to recap, my gaming profile is the likes would be a survival, RPG, tower defense, sandbox, and a potential MOBA. The dislikes would be detectives, FPS, battle royale, shooter, and MMORPG. Okay, so we got that covered. So this is the point where I want to talk about the actual games that, well, I actually play, or am planning to play. The games that I genuinely like, and the ones I grew up on. So, before that, let's clear up. As you know, there are three potential gamer types. Tablet gamers, or mobile gamers, that play on devices that are mobile, PC gamers, those that play on, well, computers, and there are console gamers, those that play on consoles. If you ask which archetype I am, definitely mobile, as you saw from my gaming content of this channel, as I honestly find tablet gaming better than the other types. Let me know if you want me to talk about that in depth. So, you'll genuinely see more tablet games and tablet game franchises than others. So, you may ask, what's my first major game that actually made an impact? Well, let's just say it's tough to tell that specifically, since I honestly don't recall what's my earliest game ever like which one I played the first. However, I do know for the fact that the first proper gaming franchise, that I ever played is definitely the Angry Birds franchise. Now, yeah, that may sound pretty stereotypical for a mobile gamer, but hey, those games were fun. And why were they fun? Because they did not have fear in experimenting. Every single game that Rovio, the company that made these games, released something new. Whether it would be match and make, RPG, racing, puzzles, they tried everything. And I mean, they were moderately successful. And I had a sort of an Angry Birds phase from my young age to, if I were to say, when I was 11 or 12 years old, I would believe. I'm not entirely sure. However, it is still a franchise that has a special place in my heart. I still thoroughly enjoy the memories. The memories of beating the second tower in Epic. I unfortunately never finished that game. The battles I had against Chuck in Go. He was the only bird I could not unlock. I couldn't beat the third battle with him. That was the only thing that was keeping me from completing the game. Collecting the items in Angry Birds Stella, my personal favorite out of the slingshot games. However, if I were to say which one was definitely the most memorable, that would have to be Angry Birds Space. Because, well, I think it was the most original. Too bad that, unfortunately, quite a lot of the games nowadays of this franchise are either deleted or, well, they are gone altogether. I do not know specifically why, however, you can not play quite a few of them. Sure, you can play them still on older versions of gadgets, such as your older Apple devices or whatever you play. However, on newer ones, you can't. They're gone. So yeah, now that we cleared that up, too bad it was a bit sad in the end. I was, well, let's just say raised on other major game titles. I obviously played fodder games like Doodle Jump, Fruit Ninja. What else did I play? Paper Toss, I think. Subway Surfer, I played that. And I even heard there's an animated series about it. Though I don't really know about that. What else did I play? Yeah. Oh, and various puzzle games like Cut the Rope. I even watched their shorts series, though that didn't particularly last very long. Mainly because it wasn't very memorable, though I did appreciate the game and the other games from the developers Zepto Lab. So, yeah, those games were cool. Now, my first taste of other or non-mobile exclusive titles came when I was around 11 or 12-ish. That was when I got my first ever smartphone, an HTC Vive to be exact. That's when I got introduced to probably one of the greatest games that I played of all time, Minecraft. Now, it's pretty stereotypical for someone to like Minecraft, however, what's not to like? It's a game where you can literally become a god without actually being one by knowing everything up to the tiniest details, really. It's frankly amazing that such game is possible to make. And to make matters even better, I got it as one of my preset games, so I didn't have to buy it. Though nowadays it is free with an extra in-game currency, though it doesn't really matter towards the gameplay. Anyways, yeah, and I enjoyed it. Though, to my defense, I was a noob back then. I broke stone with my fist. I did not know what furnaces were, so I couldn't craft bricks. Bricks are my favorite block, if you didn't know. And yeah, I was noob-ish. And while I figured out what a pickaxe later was and all that jazz, I was struggling in this game, especially in survival, where I did not know what to do, why I couldn't hit animals. But hey, to their credit, the game was still new, as you know, Minecraft came out in 2009. Yeah, 2009, at least the first versions. Though I played, I suppose, some of the slightly later ones. I'm not sure which version I played, but it was definitely a very old version with a very old UI. Maybe I'll get a few screenshots in there so that you can see what I played. And my English was still poor back then, as I wasn't really invested in it. Again, let me know if you want a video on how I got invested with English, because I actually have a fairly interesting story on my relationship with the language. So yeah, and you may ask, well, how did you get better with this game? Since if we're honest, Minecraft is a type of game that you either figure out what to do and you have fun with it, or you don't figure out anything, delete it, and forget about it. Well, it worked sort of in the way that I got introduced to all the stuff that I do today. YouTube. I got first introduced to YouTube early on, but didn't really get invested in it until I was 12, I think. I don't really remember, but it was definitely after I was 10. That I am sure of. And while I didn't know what subscribers were or how to subscribe back then, since I didn't know how to create an account, I still had quite a few Minecrafty moments on my YouTube profile, since, well, I liked Minecraft and wanted to find out more about it. That way I also learned English, a slight spoiler, and I also, well, learned more about the game, how it worked. The two main creditors that I'll have to give a handshake to would be Exploding TNT and Dan TDM. Thanks to the former's machinimas and latter's custom mod adventures, though they're old but they're still golden, that I would become a good Minecraft player. And once I got it uploaded on, not this necessary tablet, it's not my first one, the one I'm recording this very video from, however, another one that, well, it was older. And, well, I played it to hell and back. Sure, I did get frustrated from dying early on. However, as I got more used to it, I honestly became more and more, well, competent with the game, and ultimately became a decent player, and I still hop onto a world every once in a while. A world is the definition of a save file for those who haven't played the game, and to this day I still like other games of such genre, such as Terraria, Don't Starve, Last Day on Earth, Subnautica, Hollow Knight, since that's also a sandbox. Let me know, do you want me to make videos about those games, since I honestly had quite a few memories with those as well. And maybe a more in-depth Minecraft video, since, well, I, again, had a lot of memories with it. So, but that's not the only genre that I ultimately grew to love through one video game and YouTube. Through YouTube, I learned to love quite a few more games. However, one of the games that possibly changed my entire course of life was, well, before I reveal that, let's talk about a company known as Nintendo. Yeah, you probably know what it is. However, it's a company that I really got to owe a lot of what I am inspired by today. Now, yes, this company has a lot of franchises, whether it would be mainstream or third party. However, if I were to say three specifically that I'm enticed by, those would be Super Mario, though I mean, who doesn't like Mario, really? It's their mascot, and his games are amazing, most of them. I haven't played any, and I suppose this leads to a sort of confession. Despite me liking games from a console company, I don't actually own any of their consoles, and played very few games from them, the ones that are available on mobile, and even then they're scarce as heck. And, well, I mostly got interested in them through other media and still follow them through other media. So, does that make me a pseudo fan? I mean, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Can you call me a pseudo fan? If so, call me that. I won't be offended. The second would be Punch Out. Yeah, it's not a big series, but it's an enticing series of boxing. And the one and only series that possibly changed my life forever, Pokemon. But we won't be talking about that series here today. Oh no, that will be saved for another video. We'll be talking about it next time. So yeah, and through Pokemon I got introduced to the RPG franchise. Well, what am I talking about? Well, franchises, since, well, I honestly enjoy RPG franchises since they're so fun. The stories are quirky and all that. In terms of my personal favorites right now, well, Pokemon, of course. I also like Octopath Traveler. It's a really good game with decent storytelling. Epic Battle Fantasy, not a huge game. Or games, I should say. It's an entire series. They aren't big, but they're certainly interesting. And I also enjoy, every once in a while, popping on in, what was it? Damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. Popping on in... Genshin Impact. I got into it quite recently, thanks to my sister. So yeah, I enjoy such games. And am willing to potentially find more interesting ones in the future. As for tower defense, how I got introduced to that, that would be owing to the game Plants vs. Zombies. I played it when I was young, however, I still enjoy it to this day. Though I don't play it as much anymore since, well, I beat both the first and second game. I'm currently waiting for the release of the third worldwide, though it may be out, I didn't check. However, I do still love those games. The whole cartoonish art style, the strategy, especially the second game, and the whole levels and gimmicks is just so fun. And while I didn't play too many tower defense series, the only really other major series that I played would be Bloons Tower Defense, which, well, I only really played the 6th game in the series, though it's possibly the best, so not really anything to complain. Besides, with each installment they really get better. The company that makes them, Ninja Kiwi, so that you know. Yeah, as you can see, through certain games I am introduced to certain other genres. I also play games based on popular other things, such as movies or cartoons. I also played random games, which I still do some to this day. I have them on my phone, just so that, well, in case I need to kill time, and all that stuff. So, yeah, as you can see, my assortment of video games is, well, it's pretty interesting. Oh, and before I forget, how did I get into the MOBA genre? Yeah. How did I get into it? Well, it was thanks to one game, Brawl Stars. Mainly for the fact that it's probably one of the most balanced games I've ever seen. Every single character is a threat. You don't have any time to waste in a specific mode or to waste opportunities on an objective. You genuinely have to use all characters if you want to get the true potential out of everyone. Sure, some like other characters than others. For example, my sister, who is an active player, cannot play Brock, while I cannot play Piper. Just so you know, these are characters that we own. And yeah, while I did lose interest in the game, thanks to my account getting deleted, mostly because I wasn't registered, I'm still honestly not too mad about it. as this game introduced me to a genre that I never thought I would, which I honestly had no previous interest in. So, in short, to summarize, video games are great. If we didn't have them, the whole programming industry wouldn't ever get as far as it did, and possibly some of the advancements that we got wouldn't get as far as they did. So, in short, play video games. They're good for you if you play them right. Though again, find what you like. Don't play everything. So yeah, that's just about going to wrap it up. Sorry if I rambled on a little or stumbled on words, or this is just a random experiment for me, and this is an opportunity to try out new things like placing new pictures or adding sound effects. However, this isn't gonna be the last of it. Very soon, I'm going to release another of its type that's going to be talking about, again, the most impactful franchise in my life, Pokemon. And look forward to that, because after that, for our anniversary, which is coming around the corner, honestly, we're gonna have something very special. So yeah, but now we can call it a wrap. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to leave a like or a dislike. Any sort of criticism is appreciated. Subscribe if you're new to our content, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. I'll see you around. Peace.